And we're live. Whiskey, Watches, and Wheels, the #1 podcast in Spread Eagle, Wisconsin. I'm the phenomenal Matt Green. Boys, introduce yourselves.
I'm James.
I love it. If you guys notice, we are down a man tonight. Casey decided it was much more important to watch grown men play with their balls than be on our podcast tonight. So he's out in Nashville watching the... I'm not a basketball guy. What is it? Is it the NCAA? Yeah, tournaments or whatever. So that's where Casey's at. So, fellas, how are we doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. A little tired.
James, a little tired.
A little worn out, trying to catch up from last week. But
I bet you are. And we're going to talk about last week. But before we talk about last week, let's jump into our wristwatch check. Who wants to get us going?
Oh, geez.
I'll go first.
Good, Kev.
Yeah. All right. So yesterday or last episode, we talked about an Omega Speedmaster. So I wore mine today. I don't know. It's an Omega Speedmaster. That's all I know about it. I traded a guy for it a long time ago for some parts. I changed the bezel to black because it had a silver bezel. And this one has the date. You have to change it on the side of the case with the little pin. Don't know much about it. Don't often wear it because it has these two little prong tabs that you have to pinch, and it hits my wrist when I'm using my mouse. It's a heavy watch. I will say that the hands do glow very good. Probably more so, almost as good. Yeah. The lume almost as good as my Luminox. So I think that's a good watch.
Why don't you change out the band instead of bitching about it? Just change it out so you wear it.
Yeah, I could do that. You're right. That's a good point. But you know me, I don't like aftermarket bands. So
I know. Hey, and I checked my watch, my Omega last week after we talked about it, and mine has the two little prongs as well. So I thought, okay. So it does have. So it must be an Omega thing. Mine has the two prongs as well.
Yeah. So every time, I'm it leaves these two little marks here on my wrist. So that's my watch.
Nice.
All right. Well, I will go next. I am rocking tonight. Let me share my screen here real quick. So I have from Seiko's Recraft series, I have the SNKM 97.
The new
and
band.
I love this. Yeah, I love this watch for a couple reasons. One, so first of all, the specs. 43 millimeter stainless steel case. It's got the tried and true Seiko, the 7S26 automatic movement, 21 jewels. We talked about jewels last week. For those that didn't listen, if you want to know what jewels are, go listen to our last week's episode. It's got an exhibition case back, 41-hour power reserve. So it has a lot of really premium features, but this watch is $250. I mean, it is such a bargain. There is some areas that they cut corners. You can tell it. The band was really kind of chintzy. It was a Jubilee style, but it made a lot of noise. It was very squeaky, it just didn't feel really nice. Like the band that came on my SKX was a Jubilee style, and it looked very similar, but it was hefty, had solid end links. This was a little cheaper. And then it's got a hard X crystal on it instead of having a sapphire crystal. So there's some areas that cut corners, but for $250 to get an automatic movement Seiko with classic styling, it's great.
I like this watch.
It made? Where is it made? Is it made in Japan? Is it made in Malaysia? Made in China?
Malaysia. It's Malaysia.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this watch. I like the green dial on it. I like the shape. The one thing is, it is kind of that retro feel to it, but it is much larger than an old Seiko, that's for sure. It wears big.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's much larger.
Cool.
So, but I like it. Well, I have big wrists, so it fits my wrist well. So
cool. Well, let's see here. I am going to show you this since I just got back from Texas Hill Country Rally. I'm wearing a Seiko rally watch. So this is a Seiko 6119-8500 Rally Sports Diver from 1969. So it's got some age to it. Out of the many Seiko sports divers from the 60s and 70s, this is maybe the most sought after. So the Rally name comes from the checkered bezels and dials. So it's got a deep blue face on it. And I have it on a leather race strap. So I don't have the original band. Apologies to Kevin, but I'm good with it.
No, but that
I
band
love this
fits
watch.
the style.
Yeah. And then, maybe next episode I have a newer version of this. So maybe I'll wear that and you can see the comparison between the two.
Yeah, maybe you
as
take a
far as the
picture
update.
side by side.
Sure.
Exactly. So, James, if you were to guess, what's that watch running? You said from 69. What's that watch running these days?
Oh, gosh. I have no idea.
About 1,300.
Okay.
Let's say
I like
I
the
didn't
style
pay
a lot.
anywhere.
Especially in that condition because of the bezel.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you're going to see the bezels
They're
all
worn.
beat to crap.
Yep.
So it may
Yeah.
even be more. Again, that is when I say 1,300. That's what's original band. Now they leather band, but about 13. I've seen them go as much as 1,800. For
That's
that,
still a bargain for the style, though. So I'm a big fan of. I think I mentioned it last week. Omega has a Speedmaster model they call the 1010, and it has that checkerboard around the dial, around the bezel. And I've always really liked that style. But they're like $5,000, and so that to get something with very similar styling, actually, I think I like the Seiko better. That's pretty cool.
Let's see here. Just real quick, I paid $6. So
That's not bad.
nice.
Yeah,
I'm good.
that's a good deal.
I'm happy with that.
Cool. All right. Well, James alluded to it. James went out gallivanting around in his SC at a rally in Texas called Hill Country, right?
Yeah.
James?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's going to tell us about it because I was not there and Kevin's not there. And although I'm not in the cool kid club. I don't have an air-cooled Porsche to be able to go to some of these rallies, but these two guys do. So how'd it go, James? The photos look cool.
Yeah, it was great. It was a bucket list rally.
Right, you got to start us from the beginning because I got a lot of questions for you. So,
all right.
So how did you guys get there? You trailer? Did you drive? I want lots of details because we got an hour.
So yeah, all right.
Yes.
So Texas Hill Country is in Texas. Obviously, it's in Kerrville, Texas, which is an hour northwest of San Antonio. So we flew into San Antonio. We shipped our car. So it was a bit bougie. Number of our friends from the Carolinas and Atlanta area, they drove, which I think is insane, but pretty epic trip for sure. Not that I want to do that or have the time to do that, but it's certainly.
How long was the drive if they would have drove from?
I think I looked it up when we were planning this trip, and it was 19 hours from Charlotte.
Wow.
So
Texas is such a large state. Depending on where it is in Texas, you can always add an extra day and a half just getting across Texas.
Yeah. Well,
and any of the guys that drove, their car was spot on. They didn't break down. The ones that drove too. Okay, cool.
Not that, everyone that I knew that drove made it without issue. So that's fantastic. And it speaks volumes on these cars because not only did you drive it there in probably pretty rapid pace, but when you got there, you just spent the next 2 days just ripping with that same car and then jumping in it the next day and started driving back.
Drive home.
So more power to them, but I couldn't do that. My schedule didn't allow that. So Dave from Sonderworks scheduled a truck. So a hauler he has a relationship with. So we had 5 cars go down there and we picked up. So Liam, Kevin from our Gator Crawl. So he ran with us. He came from Florida and shipped it from Dave's shop. And then we picked up another car in Atlanta, which was wild because, we flew in and rented a car, drove the hour to get to the hotel, and then our cars were just sitting there. So it was
Did
like,
Dave make his reservation for his car rental that same day?
No.
It's like a concierge service.
So What happened? You guys got there on Thursday. You guys got there on Friday. Give me okay.
Yeah,
You
we
got there on
there.
Friday.
Okay, so yeah, it starts Friday and Saturday, goes through Saturday, and then we got there Thursday, probably around 5 o'clock. There was a packet pickup at 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
The wild thing is there were over 300 cars. So
wow,
it was,
I was asking how many cars there were, so that's a lot.
yeah. So
Wow.
over 300 cars. I think there were 400 people or so. It was mixed as far as with couples and guys and such. So it was a really good mix. What was wild is that there were so many cars that took over the whole hotel.
Wow.
And it was amazing. It was, you kind of got numb with the with the amount of Porsches, and you're just like, wow.
And all
I love
air
that
cooled.
idea.
All air cooled, right?
All torsion.
Okay.
Air cooled
Wow.
and torsion bar. So 356 all the way up to the G body.
Okay. Yeah. So no 964s. You can't drive any.
No 993s.
Basically. Yeah. So the last year would have been at 86.
9, right?
89. Yeah. 89 would have been the last year. So, how was check-in?
Yeah.
Was it with 300 people? It was pretty quick in the hotel.
It was great. They, this is not their first rodeo, no pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it was last year was the 20th year. So they had it down. I think last year was a little over 200 cars. This year it was over 300 cars. So that was a pretty big jump, but everything that, as far as I'm aware, went smoothly.
And this was
really
your first
great
time?
swag. Yeah, really great swag. Obviously it was a bucket list item. So, we made the full commitment to fly and ship. Which was great because we came in fresh and were really able to concentrate on Friday and Saturday. So packet pickup was easy. We got a really great poster. Everything was mapped out really well as far as the you got a literal map, 2-sided map with your routes. So what's also
that blew
different,
my mind. You mentioned that because so many of these rallies use apps now that when you said you had paper maps, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, what was interesting is what makes it different than most other rallies is that you don't have 1 or 2 routes to run. You had 12 routes and there were no run groups. You made your own run group. So on Friday, we hooked up with some veterans that we knew from Targa, Carolina, I believe it was. And they were super great and fast, which was really great. The roads were different material than we're used to, a little bit rougher, can throw some stones. So we'll be replacing a windshield here soon. But
so
it was
did you
fast.
find it, did you get to meet, did anybody hop on, or was it very much where these guys knew these guys, you guys knew yours, and you kind of ran with the same group that you're used to?
Yeah, pretty much throughout
kind of cliquish. Yeah.
Well,
I don't want to
wouldn't say it was
cliquish.
cliquish. No, it wasn't cliquish. It was 300 people. You don't know 300 people. So,
yeah, Matt, as you know
Charles,
too, like when you're running, you want to run with people that you know.
Yeah, they're your
how
friends,
they drive.
Man.
Well, not even that. You want to run that. If you're, especially, how James and Dave and stuff drive. If and even myself on like my water cooled, you guys, everybody knows the rhythm, and you don't want someone brake checking or so I definitely think that it's not, I don't want to say clicky, it's just, hey, you run with someone that you trust.
Bad choice of words on my part. I mean, I know what you meant, so
but how
was the fellowship and all the, I mean, I want all the deets, man.
Yeah, well, no, it was good. We met some new people, obviously. How can you not? Which was really cool. But obviously you can't introduce yourself to 300 people. So
yeah,
we the parking lot scene is pretty big. Unfortunately, the weather was fairly cold, so hanging out in the parking lot, I guess, was not as many people as previous, just because of the weather. It was just cold. So
So day one, you guys left at what time?
On Friday morning, we left at 7:30 on the dot.
Okay.
So super
and then
long.
You guys did your route, and then
we did. What we did was a route called Twisted Sisters, which is kind of the route that you should do. You know what I mean? So we did it. It was fantastic. Very hilly, very, the elevation changes were great. It's almost like a roller coaster in a number of places as far as going
I prefer
up 2
the D
stories,
Snyder.
down 2 stories. So it was neat. But I think my car for Texas is a little too low. So I had to be very, very careful. I was bottoming out here and there, especially on those, you're coming over the hill, and as you start to go back up the other one, your car just slams down. So I've got some, scrapes and such, but, no real damage beyond the windshield. So everyone was warned as far as all of that goes. What was really interesting is on Saturday, we ran through a lot of ranches, actual roads going through ranches, and a lot of cattle grates, which, there was a way to do it so that you didn't slam your car. But really what threw me is when you would get into a little bit of a rhythm on these really tight twisties, then you'd have these dips, and these dips would go down to single lane bridges where typically it would flood out. So some of these bridges we crossed had water on them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was just really interesting where Friday was super fast, and then Saturday was super twisty and a lot of braking, a lot of tight turns, a lot of these, the cattle grates and such. So
how many hours did you guys drive on Friday? When did you guys come back?
I think we did about 500 miles total on both days.
Okay.
So,
how long did that take?
So 7:30, and then, you stop for lunch and all of that. And we got back probably around 3:30. So
On Friday?
On Friday, we added some, it's like, we don't live in Texas. We don't drive these roads. Let's get as much as we can.
Right.
So
then Friday night, after you guys drive, what happens? You guys do dinner at the hotel, or everyone breaks off and does their own thing?
Friday we had dinner at the hotel in the lot. So it was taco truck came in, you had a ticket, and you could eat there, or you just sit, shoot the shit in the parking lot and drink.
Well, with that many people, I'm sure they have to get creative when it comes to food. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But we came up, Dave went to the liquor store and came back, and he got some plastic cups, and they were these cups that had built-in shot glasses in the plastic cup.
Wow.
So we wound up calling them rally cups, and we'd fill the center with bourbon and then the outside with beer, and have your Boilermaker, and we were passing those around. So at some point I'll post some of those photos, but they were quite the hit, and you can only have so many of those before you were acting stupid.
No doubt.
And then Saturday you guys got up in the morning and did the same thing. What route did you guys do on Saturday?
The route was put together. I guess there was a kind of an email invite that went around before the rally, as far as, hey, if you want to do this, show up at this spot. It was a couple exits down. It was a dirt lot, and I don't know, maybe 50 or 60 people showed up, and then ran in a number of groups. I would say there were maybe 6 groups.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, we left pretty late, so it was really
from all
just
those Boilermakers, I'm assuming. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we ran just the 3 of us for a while. Dave, Liam, and myself, and we would catch up and then take a break and all of that stuff. But those were really twisty, going through ranches, coming across cattle, coming across. I came around. I led on Saturday, and I came around a corner, and there were just these
steer sitting in the road.
No, not steer. There were goats crossing the road.
Oh shit!
So slammed on my brakes, and then they had attitude. They were like, "Yeah, we're not moving that fast." But we were
gravel
more
roads, like a lot of gravel roads.
No, we didn't hit any gravel roads. They were all of this macadam. I forget what they called it, but it had rocks on it.
Oh.
And it was pretty light. Some places were pretty light. I would say that we were running through the ranches, that the roads, you didn't know where the road was going versus a driveway off to the side, because they were similar colors. So that day, that route, we did have map for it through the app, which helped tremendously. I will say that, because first time on those roads and trying to rip and trying to be in front, you really had to, where does this go? Because the elevation changes were crazy. So you didn't know if you were going over this crest, if it went right or left or just straight down. And so the app helped out a lot. But visually, a lot of things blended in because there wasn't sunlight. It was overcast. So a lot of the color casts were very similar, not a lot of contrast. So that was a bit of a challenge, but we had a blast. We just had a great time. We met up for lunch, and with that big group, did our lunch, and then we switched it around and had some other people follow us out, and we just had a good time, and then stopped for some beers. And
so it was called Hill Country. Was the roads fairly hilly? Or I think of Texas as being pretty flat. So
yeah, this is in the Texas Hill Country. So the elevation changes were excellent.
That's good.
The roads were fast.
Any cars that you saw that were like badass as far as like, wow, look at this. Like some cool cars. No, just cars that, we typically have our own style, right? Like East Coast and stuff. Did you see anything like from the West Coast of Texas, at least from the car culture, with hot rods and stuff? You see things that maybe you don't see, we all do our own little thing here, but then you see some cool stuff that you don't really see too much of, or you see some.
What was really interesting is the feedback that I got on my Group 4 wheels. The gold Steelies that I have.
Yeah, I like your wheels.
So many people were not aware of those, and I got so many questions on it. So those were kind of a hit. So when you're talking about a regional type of thing, I didn't think a lot of people knew these Group 4 wheels, which, for us in the Carolinas, they're popular. Right. So talked to a lot of people about those wheels. And as far as the rest of the cars go, there were some really cool cars there, some really nice 912s. There was 356s, a lot of patina.
Any 914s?
Yes.
Okay, good.
One or two, I think there was.
When you said yes, I'm like, oh yeah, there was like 30 of them. Okay, so
no, but most of the cars, there weren't many stock cars. I mean, they were there, but most of them were customized in whatever fashion you were into.
Yeah, rightfully so.
But yeah, the parking lot, all you had to do was really walk the parking lot, and you could just sit there and take photos all damn day. But no, it was great. I'd love to do it again. Super.
Would you do any 912 or no?
I don't know. I think I like my SC for the rallies. I like a certain speed. The SC is really dialed in right now, and I know it super well. The 912 probably would be really fun on those roads, especially on Saturday going through the ranches.
It would definitely be a different vibe in the 912 than it would be the 911.
Yeah. And, when we run these things, I typically run with the same folks, and we have this terrible habit of just going all out and not stopping. We take a quick break and then get back to it and start ripping. And when it comes time to seeing all the photos, we don't have a ton of photos because we never stop. So there's never any of these cool gas station shots or, next to some animal shots or anything like that.
So I did see on Instagram, sorry, Matt, I saw on Instagram a lot of pictures from their Instagram page. I saw people working on cars in parking lots and stuff like that. And I saw that a lot of the cars that were in parking lots were either 356, basically 4 cylinders, 356 or 912s. Is that how many cars what was happening with those cars? Did you know? Did you guys sit down the hell with that? My car works and we leave.
Yeah, there were some mechanicals for sure, which is expected with very old cars and over 300 of them. So I think fuel pumps were the big deal. There were a number of those being changed out. But
I know mechanical. All the fuel pumps are mechanical, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we had a supply. Dave was thought ahead a bit and shipped a bunch of parts in case we needed them. But luckily, we didn't. Knock on wood.
That's good.
So the key
what were
is,
you going to ask, Matt?
Oh, no, I was just going to make a statement earlier. When James says they don't stop and there wasn't a lot of photos, I found that, not unusual, but James is the photo guy. I remember our very first rally together. James kept saying, man, we should stop here and we should stop here and it would be good to get a picture over here. So yeah.
Yeah, we still do that, but I wish we would do it more. But when you get into the rhythm, you're just kind of taking it all in.
Sure.
So
yeah.
But no, it was fun, and I'd love to do it again. And for us, maybe it was a bit bougie for us just because we shipped and there was somebody meeting us there, and then we just dropped our cars off on Saturday, and they were gone that in an hour. They were back on the road, back to North Carolina, and
hey,
we
there's
didn't
nothing
stay.
wrong with that.
you would know.
Isn't.
Well, it's funny you say that. So I was talking to Bert, my fabricator. I had to pick up a boat today. So we're talking to him. I was talking to him about his truck. He's got like a 2500 about doing like for Ruckus. And I was like, hey, because I have a van, a 2500 van. So we literally went from, hey, how much can your van tow? So he tells me, or his truck. And then we go from there. Then we go from, oh, okay, well, maybe I start looking at, putting bags on my van to put up, because I have 250 van, putting bags on my van, to buying a Featherlight trailer so that I could tow. So then it literally went from that to, well, hey, Bert's like, I can get my CDL. I'm like, yeah, we can buy a semi-truck. I'll buy a semi-truck. They're like $10,000, $15,000. Buy a semi-truck. And we can get like a call hauler, not a double stack, but like a 5 or 10. And then from there goes to, I'm looking while he's talking on Facebook Marketplace, looking at a 3,500 Dodge, and then buying a 3-car hauler and figuring out gas costs. And he's like, how did it go from you borrowing my truck to all of a sudden you're thinking of a business plan, and like we're talking about, okay, well, if we charge this much, this is the money we would make. Is it feasible? Where are we going to park the car hauler, because it's a 3-car hauler? To DOT, do you have to have this? How many pounds? I think it's 26,000 pounds. We go down this whole rabbit hole of like what we're going to do and how we're going to do this. And okay, I can buy a nice 3,500 for like, I don't know, under 40 grand with under 100,000 miles on it. And he goes, man, you really get into this shit. And this is all for like rallies. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, you know me, I got to go all in. So,
well, the key is you have to remember, I'm a logistics guy.
Wait, so now you're getting a trailer?
Yeah. Well, I'm a logistics guy, so that's the key. You said, what do you do with it when you're not using it? That bitch never stops. You create a logistics company, and you friggin', when it's not moving shit for you, it's moving shit for somebody else.
Yeah. So we were talking about it. And I was like, well, I got to sell some parts first, and I picked up a boat that I'm going to try to sell. So I was like, well, let me sell this boat, let me sell this hot rod, and then we'll talk about it. And he's like, well, how many things you going to do? I'm like, well, my buddy James, I mean, he's done, we did Gator Crawl. We did, we have, well, not
Texas.
Amelia, Texas, Ruckus, Target Carolinas, plus, I mean, hey, if you have, yes. And then also on top of that, we have Farron. Then I can do the Dragon Rally as well. Because, I live in Florida. So to go up to North Carolina, last year I did just trailering up to, having someone trailer up to Atlanta. That was $700. So, and then I drove it back. But like to James' point, you are refreshed. That's such a boring drive from Florida. And you get in your car. I mean, Matt, you did it. I've done it for a number of years. Yeah. You get in the car, your car's there, you pick it up. I drove a couple of miles, an hour to the mountains or 2 hours to the mountains. It's not like driving 10 hours.
Right.
And I wish I would have did it, but like I do want to do Ruckus. Is that the one in West Virginia? Is that what it's called?
That's Ruckalos.
Ruckus. So I'm already looking into, okay, I can do the car hauler out of Sanford.
Mm-hmm.
It's $700. It's 13 hours, but $700. I'm sorry. It's $100 if I do coach. If for private, it's $700 for private stateroom and stuff. And coming back, I could do coach again, or I could it's cheaper coming back from Virginia to Florida for some reason. I think
so. You're talking about the auto train, right?
The auto train, which goes into outside of DC and then drive. But I have to have, I think 3 or 4 inches of clearance, which I think I do have that on the SE. So I definitely have it on the Weishawk, but I think on the 85, I think I do.
But you're not on the Carrera though. It should be the same, no?
I think it's lower on the Carrera. The Carrera is lower. Yeah, because it's slammed and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been looking at all these things because I talked to Mike and he's got a Cayman and I think it's diesel, so he can pull. He can pull he can pull. I have this big van and I thought it was a 250. I thought I could put it's only 5,000. My 400 can only pull 5,000. So I'm at 4,900. We were calculating it. I think our cars weigh about 3,200 pounds. Mm-hmm. So, and then the gas and stuff like that. So yeah, we went down this whole rabbit hole of like,
I love it.
I mean, and then like you said, I was thinking of, well, our other friend, he charges $1.50 a mile. So he's like, there's no way. So I'm doing calculations and, it's 40 cents is what it costs per mile if you're doing like 7 miles. I mean, we went down this. I mean, we had 3 hours down this. My wife's probably listening to this next week. She's going to listen to it and be like,
all over again.
There is a business model here, my friend.
Yeah. And for me, I get to write it off through the company because the truck's over.
Yeah.
It's
definitely over 6,000 pounds.
It was over 6,000 pounds, especially at 35. I had a dually too at one point, and it was great. But yeah. So I don't know.
One thing that was cool about this rally is there were a number of safaris, which was really
cool.
Really?
Yeah, it was like perfect roads for these safaris as
cattle
far
guards
as
and no issue
big
there.
Dips and stuff. Yeah, right. And these big dips and such. So that was cool. And, it's not like they were putzing around either. They were going on a pretty good clip.
Were they like Lee Keen safaris or were they like home built or?
Not Lee Keen, but,
just home built.
In that vein.
Yeah. That's cool.
So, yeah, it was great. It was an experience for sure. And it took me a day or two to recover just because of the time change and
we know.
So focused. Yeah. Being so focused out there and
it's crazy.
Meeting new people. That takes energy. You know what I mean? At least for me, it's not the easiest thing. So
well, one thing we were talking about in our group chat and we wanted to mention tonight, you alluded to how important tire choice was out there. Was that because of the temperatures or, and that kind of thing?
I think some had to do with temperature. I think a lot of it had to do with the roads themselves, driving mostly in the Carolinas, Virginia and such, very similar roads, same surface, but out there it was a bit rougher. I don't think the grip was as good on the high speed. I felt my car, the rear end would wiggle, and I asked Dave and he's like, yeah, I'm feeling the same thing. And we were running similar tire pressures. We had same tires. And so I was like, I'm going to go up a couple pounds here. And it really made a big difference. It was just one of those, you felt floaty as far as the back end going when you were planted, but it just would have a little wiggle to it. And it wasn't a wiggle.
So was it because you weren't getting the speeds because the roads weren't, for one, you don't know them very well, and two, probably the temperature.
The grip wasn't there with all those stones in the surface. At least that's my guess. Friday was warm. Friday, the last thing I added to my suitcase was a pair of shorts. And I'm glad I did because it was warm. Where on Saturday, it was like winter all over again. So we got all these seasons in 2 days.
That's crazy, man.
It was warm enough and it didn't really slow us down. It was just the stability. You wanted a bit more sidewall is really what it came down to. So
was the car trying to track? Was it tracking, or is it just,
it was just a
floating?
little wiggle.
Yeah.
Even in a straight line, you just felt this little wiggle.
Huh.
So let's talk about that. You run typically, I know, and usually 27, you get it up to usually 35 if you're running really hard, because it's super cold in the morning usually when we run. So the temperatures a lot of times during these times are in the 40s. Put them at 27. You had mentioned some guys were running like max pressure on their tires, which I mean,
I don't know what the deal was there, but in the Carolinas, I run 27 all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
That does me really well with the Toyo Proxy R1Rs that I run.
Yeah.
And I started out there at 27s, and it wasn't like it wasn't grippy. It was just that little wiggle that I just wasn't comfortable with. So I kept it at 27 in the front and went up to 30 in the rear, and that really stabilized the car.
But what are you ending at the end of the day? Because it's not like we have air management.
I'm getting
like
up.
992.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm starting cold.
Yeah, of course.
27 and 30. And do
you guys check your
up to like
pressure
35?
Okay.
Yeah,
it's probably 35, 37, somewhere around there.
Yeah, at lunch, we stop for lunch, check the tire pressures, make sure everything's good. And it would stay up there a little bit, once you had them all warmed up.
That's a good point. Like here in Florida, like where me and Kevin live, if you put it at, say, not speed, just normal driving, you're only going to gain, once the tires are hot, only a couple pounds, because it's pretty consistent temperatures. Whereas there, when it's really cold in the morning and then it heats up in the afternoon, you can get 5-7 pound swing.
Well, that's the other part
Florida
too.
We'll have those twisties to continually put the pressure on those, on the sidewalls and such.
And I've been in Miami where, like, I've gone to Miami, driven very hard, come down to Alligator Alley, and I have to pull over and let air actually out of the tires because it's hitting like 42.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, and then to James's point, it's actually getting, a little squirrely, I guess.
Yeah.
And I know we're just driving, but when we're changing lanes and stuff like that, it starts getting a little squirrely. So, a lot of times people don't do that. They don't think, on a modern car, you have air pressure management, not management, but you can see what the temp is and you can pull over. On these old cars, there's none of that. So you do have to pull over.
What was interesting is, when we had taken a break, I had talked to a couple guys that had done the rally for years and years, and I asked them about their tire pressure. And they said 27 all the way around. So I was like, oh, that's great. But I did have to go up. So
yeah.
But when I originally got those tires, what's interesting is when I originally got those tires for some Carolina rallies, I was starting at maybe 29, I think it was 29. And I couldn't get the tires to turn. So once I dropped them down, it just was the sweet spot for my car and me at 27. And it gave me a lot more confidence. I was just like, I was driving around all day to a lunch when I originally got these. And I was just like, what is going on? These things are supposed to be super sticky. And I just didn't have the tire pressures right for me.
And I know you and I had talked about this privately, but I know a lot of people go to 16s because you have more tire choices, whereas with 15s, that's an older tire. I mean, you can get R888s, but did you find, or did you look and see what tires people were actually running? Or do you guys?
Well, those Toyos were pretty popular, right?
Okay.
And I have 16s. I don't have 15s. I have 16s. Some people have 17s. I'm not a fan of that look. That's just me. Doesn't mean it doesn't look good. I just like the 16s and how they look. So, it's time. After getting the car back and off the trailer and putting it up on the lift and going over it, it's time for new tires. So I'm starting to look now. Like I said, I'm running those Toyo Proxy R1Rs.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, on some places, they're back ordered.
How do you like to have you ran the Bridgestones?
Well, the Bridgestones Potenza RE71 RS, I may take a look at those. Okay. That was one of the other options. Also, the Toyo Proxies RA1, but they're more track autocross, so they're not going to last you very long. And
they do not do good in wet at all.
In the wet, yeah. The Proxy R1Rs, they're good in the wet. They're I don't really worry about it, maybe because I'm just used to those. Not that I do drive a lot in the wet, but
do they not make super sports like Mission Pilot super sports in that size? No,
not a 16.
Yeah, so there would be the Toyos, the Bridgestone Potenzas, and the Continental Extreme Contact Sport 2s.
Have you ran those before?
So, I've run those on the 991 previously.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I have not run those. What's really interesting is I probably did my first 5 rallies on Dunlops. And they did great. And they were hard tires. I just was used to those. But obviously, I can go in deeper and harder with those Proxies. And good thing Casey's not here to bust me on what I just said.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I had Extreme Contacts on my FRS, and they were good tires. So.
And I have to get new tires on the 85. So I'm probably going to put the Bridgestones because I did look at the tires you talked to me about, and you're correct. They were on back order. So I'm probably just going to go with
what it's on there now.
The Bridgestone Pretenzas.
Okay. Yeah. And I know that's a popular tire. Mm-hmm. The RE-71 RS.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a look at those as well. I'm just going to go through all of them. I know that I can get the Proxies easily. I'm sorry.
I'm not a big fan personally for Toyo. Okay, yeah, and I'm not a big fan of Toyo, but it's not because of I've had any issues with performance tires, but I've had issues with my van tires, and I've also had issues with the Burt has had issues where they actually started coming apart with his truck tires.
Really?
Oh, wow. That's
that's scary. I've seen some other issues with them. I've seen with was it R888s? Is that what they're called? The race tire. I mean, they don't last.
That's what Mike was using.
That's what Mike uses.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't get a lot of miles out of those. I know they're race tires, but and I know he's got a lot of camber on his back tires.
How many is he getting out of those?
How many miles?
Or how many rallies?
Probably 2.
Yeah, probably
2. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, he's driving all the way. Well, he used to drive all the way up.
Yeah.
Do the rally all the way back. Yeah, about 2.
Yeah, you're not going to get 10,000 miles out of an R888.
Oh no, I'm talking like 2,000, 3,000 miles, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I got 4 out of this set.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. So, anything else that was like memorable about the trip other than, just hanging out with people?
Nah, it was good. It was good.
It's good.
Worth doing if you get a chance to do it. Sign up for their email. You get the email notifications as far as when registration starts. I know that it's sold out in like 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I think they had, something like 300 after 12 or 15 minutes. And
so do they cap it? They must cap it at 300 then.
Well, I think there was close to 316, 320 in total.
So I think it's usually because of the hotels.
I was going to say, you can't go much larger.
Yeah, and we didn't get into the hotel. We stayed across the street at a Hampton Inn, which was fine. It wasn't very far. We actually drove the rental car over across the street just to have it there. But
yeah, that's cool.
It was kind of funny just keeping your car at the YO hotel and then driving over from your hotel and parking the rental and getting in your 911 and then scooting around Texas.
Did you feel like you guys felt like gentlemen drivers over there? You got to hop in your seat.
Yeah, exactly.
How many racing gloves did you count?
2
Okay.
that I saw.
Right.
2 I saw. Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it all depends on, like your steering wheel, what you're doing with it.
If you're rocking a Nardo wood steering wheel, then they're perfectly acceptable. Yeah,
absolutely. But some fantastic cars. It was a great experience. Highly recommended. Very well run. Cheers to Charles for really keeping it all together and making everybody feel welcome, as well as everybody that has put that thing together over the last 20 years. It's worth the effort, it's worth the time, and it's worth the expense. So
cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Our buddy, little Casey, is over in Nashville right now because he's turning 40. His wife and him went out there for the week to look at the basketball, and so his wife reached out to us and said, "Hey, can you guys come to Nashville and surprise Casey for his 40th?" And so we are. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready for a fucking break. So the audience gets to hear it before Casey does. We're going to be surprising him this weekend out in Nashville, and I am looking forward to it. We're taking over the town. So
yeah.
You guys are looking forward to it?
Yeah, well, I hope you guys have some plans because I haven't even looked at it.
There's plans already for us.
Yeah, I think the girls are making all the plans.
Yeah, I think all the girls are making plans and stuff. So we'll get them to you. We kind of have stuff to do for dinner and stuff like that. I think the biggest things we're gonna have to find something to do once we get there on Friday until afternoon because he's going to be at the NCAA, and I guess Kentucky made the round or something like that, one of the rounds, so they're playing. But she forgot their Central Time, so we can find something to do, and we'll probably should be a little tanked anyways because Casey's going to be a little tanked.
Oh yeah,
from watching the game. So it's not like he's coming to meet us sober.
No, because he doesn't even know that we're going to be there.
Well, I hope
he'll probably have a couple beers.
Yes. James, what time are you getting into town? What time are you getting into town on Friday?
I have no idea. I haven't packed. I haven't looked at anything.
Oh, no, neither I. I'm going to do that tomorrow night.
After we're done here, I'll sit down and make some plans.
There you go. Well, Stacey and I have to land at we land at 12:30, so we're going to,
Yeah, I won't be there by 12:30. I'll tell you that.
No, that's fine. So we'll be up around.
He's driving, we're flying. So
yeah, we're flying.
But I got some news for you guys. So I've been working on this fucking 85 over here.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes. Oh, I forgot to ask about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been.
How is the 85 going?
James is gonna laugh at this. So okay, so
it's a slippery slope, man.
Wait. So, let's set this up. First, let's set this up before you go there. I know let's do it right. Everybody knows this, especially if you're jumping on right now, right? Yes. So Kevin builds this fantastic air-cooled 911 SC YSOC, rare car, decides to take it on a rally and say, you know what, car is too nice. I got too much in it to be rallying this car. So let me get another car. So let me put my rally car to the side and replace it with another rally car that just happened to be dialed in through one of our friends, our mutual friends who had
with patina and beautiful,
all of that stuff.
Beautiful, but ratty enough that you don't mind taking on a rally and getting rock chips.
But I don't think not the term. Ratty is not the term you want to use.
No, it's not. It's
right.
Yeah, it's patinaed, but not in a way. Not a 15-footer, not a 10-footer, more like a 5-footer, right?
Yeah, 100%. Interior
set up perfectly.
Mint. Yes,
set up perfectly.
JRZ suspension, tear it,
ready to go. Literally, all Kevin had to do was put fucking gas in it and point it to a rally and go. What does he do?
Tear it apart.
So, I dropped off a car in Amelia, dropped off it to the YSOC to take it back to Dave's to do some more stuff to it. Took his car, drove it home. So I left with one car and came back with a different car. Got it here.
Talk about bougie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Immediately, it's only a 3-hour drive, quiet as hell. Didn't exhaust. So I manufactured an exhaust for it, threw that on. Thank goodness it's a 3.2 because I thought the 3.0 and the 3.2 are the same, but they're different. There's a different heater pipe that goes around the motor. So we changed some points, made a new jig for that. Then the AC I noticed wasn't to my degree because when I got my car back from Sonderworks, I mean, the AC is like ice cold. So, they did do a fresh, tune on it and everything. This one, not so much. So we start pulling everything apart, and I opened up the smuggler's box, which for you guys don't know, it's a little underneath the frunk. There's a little thing there, and it has
for your weed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you open it up, and you can see the steering and everything, and I see the fan, and I see all these wires, and we're kind of looking at, well, there's a wire here, there's a big plug that I don't even know where that's at, so okay, we'll leave it there. I see this white wire, and Bert's like, that looks like a probe. Somewhere that looks like a temp probe or some kind of probe. So I go on and start looking up, and I can't find anybody talking about it, but I do know that it goes somewhere. So it actually goes into the coil. There's a tube, but there's this plastic box. So you can't fit that tube into that plastic box without, you have to take the box off and fit it down this tube. And that's what actually regulates the I guess the fan or Freon or something. I don't know. I'm not an AC guy. So we're going to fix that. I pull apart. I did buy it's a Euro car, so a rear fog light. I guess you turn it on when you turn on the fog lights, or the lights, the back goes on. So I go in there and I make two
it's
wires.
A single light, correct?
Yes, it's a single light.
Mm-hmm.
So from what one of the guys told me is, again, somebody, I'm sure you guys all know what it's for. You put on the fog lights and that back light shows up so people can see you. I don't know why that would matter, because you would probably have your lights on anyways, or maybe it's a parking light or something. So I take it apart. I buy this light. It's $100 and something bucks from Porsche. And I ran two wires and I soldered this ground to it because I'm thinking, hey, I got to have two lights. So we put it in the back because that's a mounting point for it. Hook it all up. And I don't even need a fucking ground because it grounds to the chassis. Pull it all apart. But in doing that, I took the tail light off. And my boy Chris, that guy, drove the shit. We couldn't even get the light off because there's so much gravel.
I saw the fucking picture. It was insane.
In one light, we were like,
oh,
I mean, we were literally like, and he's like, what is? So we finally get it apart, and like just gravel all pulls on. We're like, and even Bert was like, who drove this car? Because I'm like, oh yeah, this guy drove the shit out of that car. It was driven.
Yeah,
yes.
It was driven.
So the seals were dry rotted, so we went ahead and fixed that. The lock didn't work. Got a new lock put in. One of the speakers didn't work. Fixed that. I got a lock from Pelican, and it came back broken. Not a lock, but a door handle came back broken. And when I'm looking at stuff, I'm always like, oh, if I got to replace it, let me see if I can make it. So I didn't want to make that part. The door, a lot of people know that on a G-body, the door handles and the inside are made of plastic. From being pulled all the time, they start warping. Mm-hmm. So Dave at Sonderworks had mentioned when we were at Amelia, why don't you do a aftermarket made out of metal that has the ribs and even has the glow mark? So I started like, okay, we need to, because I already make one now, but I'm doing another one that has the little ribs, and I bought some dye for a gun for the sights, and I'm going to go in and paint that you paint it with a needle. We do it on gun parts.
The watch guy's putting loom on his door handle.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm putting loom on the door handle.
That's right.
But it's for sights. So it should glow more. I was looking at nail polish, like reading reviews, and Aaron's looking at me like, well, what are you looking at? I'm like, I'm looking at nail polish, glow in the dark nail polish. For what? So
I love it.
Did
That's
that.
Great.
The car's here. So did that. So yesterday I bought a Dr. Chip paint correction, and I'm over there like,
right.
Dip. I start using the squeegee first, and I'm dip, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wet sand this and the mirrors had so much. I mean, I'm talking like chips like this big in the mirrors,
and what's wrong with that? It's driven. It's a rally car.
So,
but not a Kevin rally car.
I want to earn my own paint chips.
Listen, I would like to go on record as saying that at the minute Kevin said he was buying this car for rallies, I said, until you tear it apart and redo it to where it's so nice you don't want to take it on rallies.
No shit.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
I called my friend and like, hey, he loves old Porsches. And I'm like, how much would it cost to paint the hood, and the mirrors and like the front fender and the bumpers. And he sends me back a price, which is an unbelievable price.
Mm-hmm.
So he works at a local place, and it's going to be one of those like after work kind of deals. I'm not going to mention who or what company, but I think I got to help him because he said, "Oh, we can do it on a Saturday and Sunday. It'll be fun," which I'm all for that because I could.
Yeah,
yes,
that would be
because
fun,
I can remove things that he probably wouldn't remove, like the headlight buckets, the windshield wipers, bumper trim, stuff like that he would probably tape off, and I would have a tape line. Its car's red, so I think he's matched his car's perfect. So I think it will match pretty good. And it's on the 5th. But in the meantime, my graphic guy, Ron, he and I were doing graphic kits. So I'm going to do a Hawaiian Tropic off of, I think it's 1978, Le Mans Hawaiian Tropic car.
Do you want us to cut that or what? Do you want it to be a surprise, or you just let everybody know what your new livery is going to be?
By the time it comes out, it'll be whatever. They don't need, they can look at it. You're right. You know what? I should have kept my mouth shut.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, well. So he did the graphics, but some of the graphics, first. Yes, we got to kill some time anyways. Yeah. Some of the details on these graphics, you look at pictures from this car, you can't even tell the picture. Like there was a Le Mans sticker on, and we couldn't figure it out. So we were looking for all these pictures. There's one that I cannot find, and I think it looks like a Porsche. Like it looks like it's the San Francisco Bridge. I don't know what it is, but that's the one sticker. So we're measuring yesterday, we're measuring stickers, and I'm like, yep, that's it. He drew the stickers so good that all I had to tell him was the height, and the width actually came out perfect. So I'm doing this car like this because I had an Apple livery, Garrett Enterprises. Paul Newman drove the car, and it just happened to be that his name's on this Hawaiian Tropic livery too. So it's a Garrett Enterprise. Yeah, so the only part that I have to figure out is the wheels.
We need to track an image down here. Throw that thing up.
Yeah, while you guys talk about it. So the wheels had originally BBS RS wheels with turbo fans on there. And I don't like BBS wheels, but I do think a gold wheel, which James has gold on his wheels.
Yeah, with the
I love gold wheels.
Yeah, so red and the gold go great. Those Group 4 wheels are super popular in the gold.
And I have Group 4 wheels, gold. But I have the silver anthracite color. So I think the anthracite would look really good on your car, James.
I am not moving off of that. I'm in love with those. I think we should just
trade the colors. I have the same wheels that you have, the same offset too, and the same staggered. Anyways, so we're going to try to do something a little bit different with him because I have seen that car with different wheels on there. So we'll see how it pops. And then, Ron was telling me, he's like, no, you can't put BBS. That's so like, and they're heavy. And then I'm looking at prices for BBS wheels, like off of a Carrera. They're like $5,700 for these.
They're not cheap.
If I still wanted to they do make aftermarket turbo fans for them if I really wanted to make it look. But then I need to think in my head, this is a rally car. This isn't a show car. There it is. That's it. So we're doing an adaptation to it because I am trying to find a duck tail for it so I can kind of put some graphics in the back. Plus, I do love the duck wing, duck tail. But it's the stickers are exactly that. That's what the stickers look like. That's what it's gonna.
You're doing all the stickers,
all
except for the wing, obviously.
Yep.
Every single
including
one of
across the windshield. You're going to do that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. I can't wait to see that.
And I actually have that art, James. You might have seen it, or maybe I have that done by an artist, David Chappelle. He does art, and it says "Big Boy Toys" or something like that on the back there, and it's a side view of the car, and it's got a lot of like nice colors. So, the one that we couldn't do was that little shock. We had to change it up a little bit, the SAS shock, and I do have JRZs, but we're going to keep it kind of period a little bit.
Throw JRZs on there then.
I thought about that.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I personally think
no
you
one's
need to
gonna
put on the
bust you
front
on
instead
that.
of Dick Barber Racing, it needs to say Whiskey Watches and Wheels Racing.
There you go. So we're gonna try to figure something out, make it like I don't know, adapt to
I
it.
think it'll look good. I think it'll look good.
And I'm gonna keep the same names on there. I'm not gonna put my name on there. I thought about taking the wheels and powder coating them, and then like that yellow, but I don't know. I'm getting kind of mixed. So we'll see. We'll throw the graphics on, but unfortunately, we got to clean the car up and put the graphics on tomorrow. But
I gotta
with fresh
paint it.
paint.
Yeah.
With fresh paint, I can't do that. So I think what I'm going to do is paint it, PPF the front, and
not get any rock. So
no, because I had PPF on my 991 Apple livery, and the rock still cut into it, but it's better than I'll take that instead of a paint. So
yeah, but why PPF it if literally almost 80% of your front end is going to be covered in stickers? It's the same damn thing.
Yeah, but it's still not. It's the stickers, so it's not a full wrap.
Well, plus PPF is going to be UV, so if he's putting the stickers on decals on top of the PPF, it won't fade the paint. If you put decals on, I'm just saying, but you put on Guards Red, and you won't be in the sun long enough to really,
No, and this car has got original paint and it's not faded. I'll keep on looking back at it. The audience can't see it, but
pan over really, so that we all can see it. You got this crazy contraption to pan over.
Okay. Let's see here. See if I can. See here. Let's go past the light here. There it is.
Oh, she's so pretty.
Yes. So there it is in all its glory. It takes a little while to zoom in. So
it doesn't need paint. It needs a rally.
It does. It does need a rally for sure. Let's see if it can. Let's see if I can. Get this back here.
I'll let Chris know that there isn't a single original part left on his car.
Oh, he's definitely been. I've been posting up pictures of the stuff that I've been doing, and he's like, "Oh, good job, cool. Good job." I mean, hey, you got to make it your own. I don't want it to.
Sure.
I know he has a roll cage too, and there's some parts that I want to put on. I want to put a lot of my parts on and showcase it as well because the Weissach is so original. He's got a badass Scheelman seats with Space Invaders interior.
Very cool.
That they did
centers.
So
Space Invaders
for the centers.
Yeah.
So I have key fobs that I make. So he's going to send me some material where you can put the material in the. I'll have maybe Dave or something like that. Do that.
Well,
so
to your point though, man, look, you shaved 10 pounds of gravel out of the car. You it's weight savings.
That's just on one. I haven't even pulled the other one off neither.
Weight savings.
Well,
I have noticed too.
Chris took his new rally car to Texas.
Yep.
So
and how was it?
He's in the process of dialing it in.
Okay.
So he had a little bit of loosey-goosey stuff going on Friday, but it seemed to settle down a little bit. But he picked up a 73 with long hood with a 2.4 MFI, and it had a ducktail on it right now as well. So he has the Group 4 wheels in black on it, similar to mine, but in black, and it looks great. And he got a lot of kudos as well out in Texas. So.
And I think I may talk to Dave about putting these wheels on the Weissach because they're anthracite. I think it'll look good. And then buying another set of what's that wheel that starts with a P? It's what he had on those wheels on the wheels before his.
Starts with a P?
It's the group 4s, but he had those wheels on his before.
Oh yeah, I don't know the name because
okay.
I wasn't going to get those, so I didn't even look.
Yeah, so I don't know. I may have put those on a Weissach, and then at least the wheels don't get the fuchs. Plus, there'll be 16s, so I have a little better. Not that I'm going to drive that car anyways. Aaron's going to drive it, but she's pretty spirited driver herself. So, and I hate to say this, but, yeah,
PAG Group 4 wheels in gold satin is what he had.
Hey,
okay.
what tail does that thing have on? Does it have a whale tail or does it have the duck tail?
No, on what?
On the Guards Red. The
Nothing.
card's red. Nothing? No tail at all?
I've been trying to find one. The problem is everybody makes them. You have to put them on the car and do body work.
Mm-hmm.
And I had talked to Dave about that. He has one.
There you go.
Yep. There you go.
Oh, those are beautiful.
And those are rally. They look. That's the 70s rally look.
It's period. Yeah.
Period. Correct.
Yeah, there were a number of cars with those on there, including the Guards Red cars.
That's a Group 4
it
wheel.
Looks
though.
fantastic. Yeah, it is, but it looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't think that everyone is aware of the Steelies. Yeah.
Which they're not Steelies. They're aluminum look. So
like
that's
Steelies,
they're
right.
so much lighter. So some of the things I did notice about this car, the battery must weigh 70 pounds on this car.
Really? Wow.
Oh my God. And then James, do you have the front spare OEM front spare tire?
I do.
That thing must weigh 45, 50 pounds.
I'm thinking 30 pounds.
30, you think?
Yeah. And
It's
a little bit
heavy.
of extra weight in the front is not a bad thing.
So, I don't know. But I'm super excited.
Right, so you're taking that out. Well, here's what was interesting is I think we were all worried that we were sitting here in Texas without a spare tire, full size.
Mm.
And there were one, I know there was at least one that maybe one or two that had spares on the rack on top of their car.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
First thing I bought, though, I'm going to tell you guys because I've had this issue, plug kit. That's the first thing I bought for this car and for my 992 and because the 992, they comes with that bottle of stuff. That shit does not work.
Yeah.
Especially if it sits.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. I've seen even new. My bottle was fresh and it just does not plug a hole. So I bought 3 kits for that, and the spare tire I will keep in there. But I'm thinking about putting an anti-gravity battery in there. They're a little pricey, but
well, you're going to keep it. Then
What's it matter?
It's a good idea about the plug kit though, because I don't own one for the 997, so I should
you
probably
need to get one. Yeah, definitely. I mean, being pulled over or not pulled over, but on the side of Alligator Alley, when it's not like I can walk to somewhere. Luckily, a friend came by and no cell service. I definitely think that you get one of those, and
that's smart. Yeah,
that's a good idea. Maybe what we need to do is a
group buy
a rally kit,
rally pack.
There you go. Yeah. Rally pack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
including the rally cups, and bring your own bourbon and beer.
Rally cups, bourbon, small compressor.
Yep. So this one does not have a compressor, so we talked about that as well. Everybody always has compressors usually if you went with a group, except for probably our group. Do you have a compressor, James, in your car?
I do. Yes, I do. Absolutely.
Does it work?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Do you have the old OEM one? I got the old OEM yellow one.
No, as far as the compressor, no. I have a gun that I use.
Oh, that's right. I use. You're right. You're right.
Absolutely. I think that would be next to windshield glass and cleaner and some fuses. You have to have that. So
that's another thing. You cannot buy those fuses, by the way, those bus fuses or whatever they are. You can't buy those at AutoZone. Did you know that, Matt?
No.
I went to AutoZone. I went to O'Reilly's. Those old VW Euro fuses that have the metal piece. Yeah. I had to buy them online.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
all right,
I popped
one more image here. I'm gonna show you the Rally Cup, the official Rally Cup.
Oh, that's freaking cool, dude.
That is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I'll give you credit there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just molded into it. I love it.
Someone brought their dog, or was that the hotel dog?
No, there were a couple dogs.
That's cool.
Yep. So, yeah.
Very cool.
Somebody. He was an old guy too. He was checking out everybody. So
that's good.
But yeah.
Cool, guys. Well, that's an hour and 10 minutes, man.
Wow.
You guys got anything else we want to talk about before we wrap it up?
No, I guess I'll see you guys in
Happy
person
birthday,
in 2 days.
Casey.
Yeah.
Casey.
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Casey. And we'll see you guys in Nashville in a couple days. Guys listening, thank you very much for tuning in. For all the new YouTube subscribers, thank you very much. Our numbers are starting to come up a little bit. They're not where we would like them. So if you're listening and you haven't already, please head over to YouTube and like and subscribe. That really helps our YouTube numbers and the analytics. For those listening via Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thank you very much. Hit us up on Instagram or our website. If you got any suggestions or things you want us to talk about, contact us.
Definitely hit us up. We have not heard anything. Hey, if you guys want to talk shit and be like, you guys suck, or we want to hear you guys talk about this, send us an email. Because it doesn't come to me anyways. It comes to Matt. So
right. And if we didn't cover a specific tire that you're in love with, let us know.
Yes.
Let us know. We did get some good comments on really nice. You can always tell the guys that are across the pond because they use terms like mate. But on the YouTube, the last episode about micro watches, the guy was really, really happy to hear everything we were talking about. Really enjoyed it. So that's great, man. That's what we want to hear. So for those that's already subscribed, thank you very much. And we will see you guys next week. All right.
All right.
Peace.
See you guys.
Later.
Bye-bye.